Welcome, moons and stars, to this place where destiny is made. I hope you all came prepared because you are about to see a whole lot of Morrowind in just 26 minutes. We are going to do our best to attempt to explain everything that is going on. We're not going to get to everything. There is a lot that happens in this speed run. Of course, I'm going to introduce my co-commentators who are going to help me explain everything that's about to happen. You want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Forrest, the founder of the run.
Yep.
I'm LK47. I am a big fan of the game and of the speedrun going back over a decade, so quite a while.
I'm Zabogo. I played a lot of Morrowind when I was 14, and I talk really fast. And I also run this category.
Which is both pretty necessary. All right, we're just going to jump into the game. Time has not started yet. Time is going to start in a bit once I get full character control. But we just wanted to show y'all Giub, because everyone likes Giub. Giub is great.
His ghost is in Skyrim.
Yep. You get to meet him in the Skyrim DLC. He takes care of all the cliff racers, which we might see one later on.
I heard them say we've reached Morrowind. I'm sure they'll let us go.
Here comes this guard. I will give a countdown for when time starts.
Where you get off. Come with me.
And you can start time in 3, 2, 1, go. And right off the bat, we have what is probably the hardest strat in the entire
Nailed
run.
it!
And I got
Yeah.
it. Yes. And that is skipping that guard right there. That saves about half a second to a second in the run.
He's slow.
We have another skip here to try and skip a tutorial box, and I got that too. Nice. I did not get that at all in practice. Great. Now right here we have character generation. This is a strat that Forrest actually found where you can position your mouse during the pause menu. I picked Redguard as my race because Redguards get an ability known as Adrenaline Rush, which makes you move slightly faster, which will be needed for a jump coming up in a couple of minutes. In here is the rest of character generation. This is Secutius Urgala, who is voiced by Wes Johnson. Big shout out to Wes Johnson. Great guy, I've met him a couple of times. We are going to be creating a custom class for our character. The reason why is because we need to get to level 3 later on. Gonna pick these here.
Yeah, and in Morrowind, like in any other Elder Scrolls game, you level up by increasing your skills individually. So having the skills that we're going to use in the run will then let us get to level 3 to complete a quest checkpoint.
Exactly, and here we picked the birth sign of the steed because it makes us go slightly faster, which is great for speed runs.
Now, before I stamp these papers, make sure this information...
Now we have a bit of an AI exploit. Off to the right side is a limeware platter, and I'm just going to steal that. Now, stealing is wrong in Morrowind, but I'm just going to drop it on the ground. The guard's going to tell me...
Criminal scum. Wait, wrong game.
Whoops. Anyway, I'm just going to put the platter on the ground, and the guard won't be able to take it back from me because this is the tutorial, and so the game doesn't really give you any consequences for stealing or anything like that.
The Morrowind run is like 90% glitches to get away with crimes.
Exactly. Now here we're going to buy some lockpicks and some scrolls of teleportation from Aril, so the platter plus a ring that I picked up. Yep, that all looks correct. There are several different kinds of teleportation in Morrowind. There is mark and recall, where you can mark a spot and then recall back there later. You also have intervention, where you can teleport to the nearest temple or fort, depending on which one you use. Right now I'm heading outside of town to a little bit of an Easter egg. See, there is a mage named Tarheel, who I think is from North Carolina, and he invented some scrolls that allow you to jump really high and really far, but unfortunately he doesn't know how to use them correctly, so he's just going to fall to his death. We're going to teleport to Balmora, and we are going to use them correctly to jump right to the end of the game from here.
So far, this is still not a glitch. This is gameplay as intended. That is all about to change. This is what the Axiom Verge community referred to as a yes major glitches category. We're going to see the first one in this room. There's a dagger that we're going to equip, and by equipping and unequipping it really fast, we can cause it to permanently stack its stat buffs.
Here we go.
So if you look at those stats in the top left corner of the screen, we're aiming for speed. Those are out of 100. We are aiming for about 2,900 speed, at 3,000 speed. Cool.
Yep, that'll be fine.
So in case you haven't noticed, the game doesn't know what to do with us anymore. Walls become a suggestion that we can move through by quick saving. Physics only applies when we want it to, and our footsteps come really fast. This guy we're killing with a lockpick. It deals integer underflow damage. That only works in the 1.0 version of the game. Fortunately, for us, we don't need the 1.0 version of the game for the rest of this run, so we're just not going to use it.
So right now, I am moving the save file I just made to the Game of the Year edition. The reason why is, in addition to being a bit more stable, because they updated it, you also get a lot of quality of life improvements. And so in in-game time in particular, it is actually faster to swap versions of the game.
Shout out to mid-run patching.
Yes, exactly.
He is also, by the way, so lucky in-game that basically anything he does just works. Any lockpick, no matter how hard it is, he can also barter, and no matter what happens, basically the vendor will accept the deal. So,
And speaking of vendors, we are about to head to everyone's favorite merchant, Creeper. For we are going to be selling him some gold I'm going to steal out of this crate here, but because I'm out of bounds, no one notices.
The game cares whether your head is out of bounds.
Exactly.
So you can kill people, you can steal things, you can do anything you want as long as your head is clipping outside of the terrain. We are going to abuse that so much. I think we go out of bounds like 50 times in 20 minutes in this run.
Yeah, about that. Anyway, I just bought a bow and some arrows. We're going to be using those to kill people from out of bounds a whole bunch during the run. And this here is the temple from Balmor we jumped to the end of the game from. I'm going to be buying some spells in here that are going to help us out later.
Yeah, so the worst part of every Elder Scrolls game is an escort quest. We can skip 3 of them with a pair of really cool shoes we'll talk about later. One of them is unskippable. The only way to deal with it is to create a spell that will permanently enchant an NPC to make them faster. So we're making that spell now. Later on, we're gonna hit some guy with it just to give him the zoomies so that we can get through the hardest escort sequence of the game. Queuing up some hotkeys, getting ready to party. We now have every tool we need to beat all main quests.
Pretty much, yep. So now I'm heading back to Seyda-Neen because there's a fetch quest in an ancestral tomb just outside of Seyda-Neen. So we're just gonna go to that early and grab an item from there.
Yeah, the person who wants this item will tell us where it is later, but we know where it is because we've played this game before. So we're gonna do every main quest in the game, but not necessarily in the correct sequence.
Yep, this right here is Caius Gosades. He is going to be our main quest giver for the first part of the main quest. He has given us a quest to go outside of town to fetch a small puzzle box, which is right over here in Arkingfond. Some of you may remember Snowy Granius if you played this game casually. We just flew over him. Goodbye.
If you don't remember Snowy Granius, he is an old man with a skeleton who is like the first real like gear check in the game. He is a casual nightmare, and we don't even think about him.
Yep, absolutely. Anyway, we got the puzzle box, and we are going to get some information from an NPC in the Fighters Guild about the 6th house, which I'll talk about later.
This game does have a plot. If you can read really quickly, you'll be able to follow along. Or I guess you can watch the VOD later at like 1/100th speed. This is the part we had to level up to level 3. So instead of like practicing or playing the game, we're just cashing out with our shirtless boss. And then we're gonna take a power nap later on to level 3 all at once.
Yeah, we've just set up the level up. We're also having a little bit of a rave here because there were a whole bunch of fade-ins and fade-outs that were supposed to happen, but they didn't because we went fast, and so they're just happening now. Anyway, now we're going to head to the Mages Guild, going to buy and sell some items with Galbradir here. Buying a soul gem for later, plus some scrolls. That was the best place for that to be. And this NPC downstairs is the one who needs the skull we got from the Ancestral Tomb. They're going to tell us about the Nerevarine cult. I'm going to buy some levitation from this NPC. This is a bit of a safety strat. It's not quite the most optimal, but it's a bit more safe.
It's so worth it.
Exactly. Now I'm going to head to Aldrune to set up another glitch for escort quests. See, in 3 escort quests in the main quest, there is a part of the script for that escort quest where if you manage to get to it, by casting a spell twice on an NPC, you can actually insta-pass that escort quest.
This is my favorite glitch in the game. We make a pair of magic shoes, and if you hit someone with them twice, they think you've solved their problem.
Exactly.
We're gonna use it pretty soon too, right? The first time we use it is coming right up.
Next quest. Oops.
Level up.
Buttons.
You realize this was just the start of your grand adventure.
Yep. So now we have a quest to go to the city of Vivek and get yet more information. You may be sensing a bit of a trend here with Caius. So the first one is going to be an escort quest if I can get in the door here. Doors are very much the enemy in this speed run.
Yeah, this Argonian is in a bar. He doesn't want to be in this bar, but we hit him twice with the shoes, and he realized that he had the power to leave the bar all along. So that was useful. We just helped him out, helped out a homie.
Yep. Now this right here, the second NPC has some problem with their taxes. This is the tax man. We're just going to kill him, and I guess those problems aren't a problem anymore.
We shot him we shot him from out of bounds, which makes it not a crime.
Exactly.
Walls are just suggestions. They are solid one way, and we don't even care about that one way because we're so fast.
Nope. This is the library here. There's an NPC in here who's going to tell us about a book. The book also happens to be in the library. I'm going to try and get my head out of bounds. This is probably not going to work, but I'm way too fast for the guards anyway.
Yeah, you can stick your skull inside of that pillar, and then they don't notice that your disembodied floating torso just took a library book.
Yep. All right, so Caius is giving us another quest to get more information. This one is about a series of nomadic tribes called the Ashlanders. They live way out in a region called the Ashlands, of course, and we are going to learn about their gift-giving customs.
Morrowind has some like high-key Dune fan fiction going on through like most of the plot. So we're basically have to go and meet the religious zealots who live in the distant deserts and convince them that we are the Messiah.
Yes, and that's actually what Caius told us about. Now that we have actually talked to all those folks and gotten the information, Caius told us that the Emperor thinks we may be the reincarnation of a war general from 1,000 years ago. And if that is the case, we have a very important destiny to fulfill. So now we are going to head out to the Ashlands and talk to the Ashlanders and see if they know anything about what exactly we need to do to fulfill this prophecy. They're going to send us on a fetch quest to grab a bow from this ancestral tomb, and so we're just going to go ahead and grab that right now.
Go kill Grandpa's ghost and take his bow.
Exactly.
Also, fun fact, that town he fast traveled to, I just learned this year, is not pronounced cool or anything like that. It's Hull.
Hull.
Oh.
I heard a voice line.
Yeah, KH.
Yeah, there's a boat from there if you have any reason to go.
You don't. Anyway, now that we have grabbed the bow, we're going to head to the Ashlander camp. First, we have some nice deeds to fulfill, primarily bribing this NPC 2,000 gold so we can talk to the leader. 200 gold. Yeah, 2,000's a lot.
Got to make some donations.
Yep. So here is the leader of the tribe. We told him, hey, guess what? We got the bow already. And he said, all right, go talk to the wise woman. Now, what the wise woman is going to tell us is that we haven't quite fulfilled the entire prophecy yet, but we do have the potential to fulfill the prophecy later. Now, what would happen next is we would have a very long and very annoying fetch quest to go to a cave, and then that would give us the location of another cave. But because we are speedrunners, and I've done this like 1,000 times, I know exactly where that cave is already. It is that black patch on the right side of the map there that I'm heading towards.
And in this cave is a statue. This statue will give us a ring, but it has to be 6 a.m., so we got to wait for, well, in real time, about an hour and 20 minutes.
Something, yeah. Now, anyway, what just happened there was we skipped a cutscene that set up the rest of the main quest. We have to have all 4 Ashlander tribes name us Nerevarine, and all 3 great houses name us Hortator. That vampire I just killed was part of one of the Nerevarine quests, and it's thunderstorming, my goodness.
Yeah, sorry, audio. The weather just happens sometimes.
Yep.
There is one crash that we've dodged already, but if you do the big jump, during a thunderstorm, you'll jump into a cell that can't have thunderstorms, and the game will just refuse to continue.
Also, I think it's something to do with like too many rain sprites or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was one of the counselors of House Telvanni. He was supposed to vote for me for Hortator, but that takes a while, so we just didn't bother and we killed him instead, so his vote doesn't count.
Murder is an appropriate form of career advancement.
Yep.
Yeah, it's actually the best way to deal with almost every single Telvanni counselor, and is encouraged by the guy who was first killed. So we just do that from out of bounds because...
Why not?
Yeah, murder from out of bounds is apparently okay in this universe.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is part of the Telvanni customs that if you beat your opponent in a duel, you are right by default.
And so we have done that. Anyway, now we're going to head to Alderun and take care of the Redoran Hortator quest. The way this quest works is the son of one of the counselors is basically been kidnapped by the head of House Redoran, and so we are going to go rescue him, and by doing that, we garner favor with all of the other counselors except one. We will deal with him later.
So this is that one escort quest I was talking about we can't skip. We have now made this kid just permanently really fast. And so he is going to follow us at ludicrous speed. The problem is he doesn't know how to steer himself at ludicrous speed. So this is actually a pretty sketchy split.
Yep.
He can get stuck on railings, banisters, guards, light posts, pretty much anything because he's running at a speed the game didn't intend him to go.
Yep.
It's also worth
Look at that. Isn't that wonderful?
It's also worth mentioning that being in third-person mode does cap your speed, so it makes some of this more precise maneuvering much more manageable.
Thank you.
There we go.
All right, we
got
got
the
it.
trigger.
So now that we have done that, we basically just have to talk to all the other counselors of House Redoran and garner favor with them and get their votes. So this would actually be a really great time for donations, spef, if you've got any.
Oh, I have so many. There's so much love coming in for this run, and so much love coming in for that any % run,
Nice.
which we only have just over $2,000 to meet to get. Oh, I'm sorry. As I was saying it, we now have, oh my gosh, just over $1,500 left to get that incentive.
Oh, let's
my
go.
goodness. And everyone's showing so much love with that $5 donation train. We have $5 from Anonymous, who said 1 ticket to the More Elder Scrolls speedruns train, please. $25 from Citizen Giant, who said 5 tickets to the Morrowind train. Greetings from Japan. We also had $5 from Daniel, who said, greetings from Norway. Hope we get the Morrowind any %, and good luck to all the runners. We also have some love specifically coming in for you, Musical Daredevil. We have $100 from John, who says, I woke up so early to catch your run that I disturbed my cat's sleep for a change. On behalf of everyone back home, we're proud of you, and we hope you're having a great time at GDQ. WMGSO, together, strong.
Thanks, that's my orchestra back in DC. Anyway, that actually wraps up the Redoran Hortator quest. Now we're going to head back to Balmora for a bit of a side diversion. See, Caius and his Blades agents have found a base of the 6th house, and they want us to go and take out the head priest. Now, the 6th house are the main villains of Morrowind, especially if you play vanilla. If you're speedrunning, the main enemies are doors and candles, but they are the enemies of the vanilla game, and their leader, Dagoth is slowly trying to take over the province of Morrowind, and eventually the entire world, and so we are going to try to stop that. Navigate through here. That is not the bow, but that's all right.
Yeah, so we're going to shoot this guy from out of bounds again.
Yep. Have to make sure I don't go inbounds or else dialogue happens. There we go. And with his dying breath, he has cursed us with corpus disease, which is a pretty nasty disease that slowly disfigures you and eventually kills you. And we now have that.
Does it kill you? I thought it made you into an immortal squid guy who's like a brain puppet of the evil god that lives in the heart of Red Mountain.
I know in some cases it kills folks, but yeah, some people become an octopus. It's weird.
This is a really normal fantasy RPG.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, while Caius and his Blades agents get to work on trying to find a cure for Corpus, which is supposedly incurable, we're just going to take care of the Erebenium Sum Nerevarine. The way this quest works is there are a whole bunch of warlike people who are in charge of this tribe, and we're just going to kill all of them, and then need someone else's head of this tribe instead who likes us more. I don't need to loot anything from you. I am looting a whole bunch of items from these folks because once we need to talk to the person, make them the head of the tribe, we need to throw a bunch of items at them and yell at them, and then they're going to become the head of the tribe, and then we're going to become Nerevarine, and yeah.
The basic plot of this quest is you murdered all of my friends. I guess you're the Messiah. Please leave this town and never come back. But thanks for giving me my dad's shirt.
Exactly. You just gave him his dad's shirt. There it is.
Yeah, it's looking really, really drippy.
All right, whoops, okay. So now we are actually going to try and get our Corpus taken care of. Caius and his Blades agents think they might have found a cure for Corpus, and that is here in Telfir.
Yeah, Telfir is terrifying. This is the split where runs go to die. The curvier an object is, the harder it is to clip through. And these mushroom houses are made out of curves. The lamps are miserable, the walls are miserable, the doors are miserable, the people are miserable. Everything about this split is just painful.
If you've played this game, it is bad even at normal speed.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's soft locks in it. The bounding box is weird. So if you fly out of bounds there, you can get a black screen and have to reload a safety save. Yeah, Telfir is the worst.
Yep, we did just talk to the last living dwarf there. If any of you have played this game or Skyrim, you know how big of a deal it is that we just talked to a dwarf.
Yeah, a little blink and you'll miss it there. You already did miss it, actually.
But anyway, we are going back to Telfir. We take the Corpus Cure, and what do you know? It actually works on us, the main character of all people. And it actually turns out being able to be cured of Corpus is part of the Nerevarine prophecy.
Oh, big
it's
thunder.
thunderstorming again.
Big thunder.
Yep. Anyway, that right there is Neloth. He is supposed to come back in a Skyrim DLC, but he is canonically dead, so sorry to all of you Dragonborn DLC fans, you can't complete that now. Whoops.
Yeah, rip.
Anyway, in here is Gothrin. The game actually tells you you are supposed to kill Gothrin. He is never going to vote for us to be named Nerevarine. And right here is the trolliest door in the entire game, and I got that extremely quickly. Nice.
Hate that door. Last instance of the shoes, we're gonna get this lady married by hitting her with the shoes.
Yep, she is now the bride of the head of the Zainab tribe. Congratulations.
Daredevil's way nicer than I am. I leave her cage locked. So she's married and trapped in a cage in someone else's wizard tower for eternity. But, you know, it is a little less consistent to leave the cage locked. You're good.
Okay, here is Zainab tribe. I've been here before. All right, so now that I have done that before, we are going to go back to Caius for one final quest. You may remember a while back when we stole that book from the library and it was a whole thing with the guards, when we talked to Maramilo. Well, Maramilo is now in jail and we're going to break her out of jail. See, Maramilo is part of a faction known as the Distant Priest. I'm going to talk about that later, but first we are going to kill the head of the third of the great houses, House Lalu. See, the head of House Lalu is actually allied with Dagothr, and so he's never going to vote for Espini and Nerevarine, and so there he goes.
And he's also intimidating two of the other counselors into not supporting you.
Yeah, and now we get to intimidate the counselors by showing them his severed head.
Exactly.
This is like good, normal, healthy elf politics.
Just how things go here in Vardenfell, I guess.
Why,
Anyway.
Methuselah approves.
Yep. Now, you may remember when we did House Redoran, the head of House Redoran actually challenged us to a duel to the death. Well, I'm just going to bonk him on the head here, and now he's dead.
That was the hardest fight in the game.
Yep.
Not even joking.
In here is another counselor of House Lalu, Yingling Half-Troll. He makes us pay him 1,000 gold, which is a lot of dialogue, so it's way faster to kill him, so I'm just going to do that. There he goes. In here is another counselor. All you have to do is find him.
This is really funny.
He's right over here.
They actually put 2 different cells in that one cell, so you go through the wrong door and then fly out of bounds in his house into the next door house, and that's where he's actually at.
Yep. This counselor is really, really easy to forget because they're kind of located out of the way of Vivek.
Yeah, they just want to farm mushrooms and be left in peace.
Exactly. And now that we have done that with House Lalu, we are going to go break Maramilo out of jail, which is actually just a giant floating meteor. Now, the distant priests have an alternate account of this war general that we are the reincarnation of, but the temple doesn't really like this account because it kind of goes against all of their preachings, and so they are jailing all the distant priests, but we have just broken Maramilo out of jail, and we are actually going to go meet the distant priests at their secret base. And to do that, we are going to use the passphrase, which is going fishing.
Hey, can I hop in for a second and just
Sure.
let you know that we are under $1,000 away from getting the any % run. Let's keep those
Let's
donations
go.
coming in. Let's keep those trains going.
We do not have a lot of time left. This run is going well, and
Sure
this
is.
game is fast.
Anyway, we just got that alternate account of the war general. Now we have a couple quests that we can do in kind of any order. The first one I'm going to do is talking to the last living counselor of House Tovani, if I did everything correctly, that is. Now she's a bit hard of hearing, and so she's going to rant about spiders and eggs and other things, but I guess it counts.
I don't know where to begin. It is such an
Good
honor
job
to
concealing little Ken doll nudity on
Okay,
that.
we're good.
Khajiit
Yeah.
there.
Concealed by the map. Anyway, now we're going to turn in House Redoran, and it turns out the new leader of House Redoran, since we killed their leader by bonking him on the head, is actually the counselor whose son we've saved. So they're going to name us Hortator, no problem.
So these are the final checkpoints before we are allowed to go and not actually kill the final boss of the game, but break his robot.
Kind of.
Yeah, we're gonna break his robot.
Yep. This is actually a mech game, in case you didn't know. Anyway, now we have the new leader of House Lalu, now that I killed their old leader. That is Crassius Curio, who is a rather interesting character.
And author.
Yes, and author and playwright. You might have read his play if you've played Skyrim or this game.
Yeah, all he wants is a kiss. He doesn't care who you are. He's like really just a pansexual icon.
Yep.
Shout out to Crassius Curio.
And now that we have done that, I have gotten... Yeah, pause for applause there. Anyway, we have been named Nerevarine of all 4 Ashlander tribes and Hortator of all 3 great houses, so we can now talk to the false god Vivek, who's going to give us the final quest, and that is to take out the leader of the 6th house, Dagothr. And now that we have done that, we have fulfilled all of the requirements of all main quests, and so we can just go back to the center of the map, Red Mountain, and defeat Dagothr.
All right, we are very close to time here. So if you are still on the fence about that any % donation,
get that in now.
Get that in.
Less than $200 to go.
All right.
Less than $100 to go.
Let's go.
Oh, it's a race. Let's go.
Let's go.
Time is coming up in like 30 seconds.
Yeah. All right, this is the final boss here. Time will be as soon as I lose character control.
Lose it slowly. Come on.
Yeah, like mess up a little bit.
Yeah, get stuck on that rock.
And time.
Come on, $4?
$3.
$3. Let's go.
You're at 99% of the way there to any
We've
percent.
got this
Come on,
cutscene.
who wants to snipe this donation?
Yeah!
Woo!
We are getting that bonus any % run. Thank you so much, everybody who donated to that incentive.
Turns
This is
out
going to
we
be
still
incredible.
do bear the burden of prophecy, and we are not yet free, because you are about to see that whole thing done in less time than it would take the Halo 3 crew to beat the 4 of us in a nostalgia death match.
It would
pretty
not
much.
take long.
I am not very good at Halo. Halo was not my FPS of choice.
Yeah, no, we all spent our Xbox years playing Morrowind.
Yep, exactly.
I was a vehicle specialist.
Ooh,
I would
nice.
go down quickly.
I used to drive the Scorpion up the back of Blood Gulch and then pretend that it wasn't my fault. My friends got mad at me.
But anyway, thank you all so much for donating towards that incentive, especially getting it right towards the end there. What a finish to that run. Now, we just finished Morrowind in 26 minutes, where we did all of the main quests. But you don't have to do all the main quests. We jumped to the end of the game, got the 2 items we need to beat the game. We then veered off, did all the main quests, because that's the requirements of the route. Then we came back to Red Mountain, as you may remember, and then defeated the final boss. But you don't have to veer off from the ending, no. You can just go straight to the final boss after you get those 2 items, and that is exactly what all of you have donated for.
We also don't have to patch.
Nope, we
This
don't
is all
have to
1.0.
Yeah. And you will once again get to hear, over applause, the 3 different dialogue playing at the same time. Because there's, I believe, 2 from Dagoth Ur and then 1 from Azura, all playing at the same time.
Yep, it's
when you
great.
finish the run.
Yeah, 2001 Bethesda didn't have a huge budget for voice acting, so they made sure that you couldn't skip any of the lines. So you just get to hear them all layer. It's really wonderful.
Yep, I spelled it correctly, right?
Thank you, Twitch chat.
Not even last night's
It's gonna mess up your menuing a little bit.
Yep.
heard them say we
It is going to mess me up, which is, I thought about making that an incentive, but I decided not to for that reason.
quiet. Here comes the car.
All right,
This is where you get off.
going to give another countdown for the timer. You can start the timer in 3, 2, 1, let's go. We have another guard skip here, twice in a row.
2 for 2, baby!
Another hatch skip.
All right.
Excuse me.
Yeah, we are back in character creation. One thing we did not mention in character creation the first time around is the other thing that determines how fast you go is how long your legs are. This game syncs up movement speed to the walk cycle. So sorry, Short Kings, you are officially suboptimal. We have some history around that too, right? You had a run where you were...
Yeah, I did Argonian for one of the GDQ runs, and it was really slow because their walk cycle is like janky. So when you're in third person, you just go like
Although
way
look-
slower than I'm used to.
It looks really funny in the escort quest that we skipped when you have the Argonian going really fast. Also, the one thing that we haven't mentioned about speed is that it's faster to go at diagonal like it is at a lot of games from this era and older. That's just, you know, you're going in 2 directions at once and they didn't normalize things.
Yeah, so you move at the square root of 2 times your normal movement speed.
Yep. Math. It's fun.
continue through to the next.
You weren't expecting trigonometry in your Morrowind run, but you donated, so you got it.
Your papers.
I'm only a little bit sorry.
Anyway, one thing that was a bit different in there is that we didn't have to make a custom class because we don't need to be level 3 for the 80% run. So I just picked a pre-made one in there.
So the guy falls out of the sky, we mentioned the Tar Heel. His name is Tar Heel. He's not the only UNC Duke rivalry Easter egg in this game. Morrowind is full of references to late 90s and early 2000s college basketball for some unguessable reason. My favorite, there's a sword named Elton Brand, and when you equip it, the game pops up a window that tells you to go to hell, Carolina. But here he is. There he goes. And we're off.
Yep. Here we go.
Mid-air,
Once again.
quick mid-air donation.
I sincerely apologize. I was not ready for the quick mid-air donation.
It was quick.
Well, shout out to, whoo boy. Ash said hi, donated $20 and says, welcome Moon and Star to this place where PBs are made. Good luck, musical daredevil. So excited for your run.
Well, it's almost over, so thanks for the good luck. We're doing the thing again where we unequip the dagger to go really fast.
Now, the nice thing is that I don't actually have to worry as much about what number I get to. In all main quests, if you get above 3,000, it starts to get a bit unstable and collision gets weird. But because this run is so short, I don't really have to care about that as much. So 3,300 is totally fine here.
Yeah, just don't hit like 5,000, the wheels fall off, like
and
more
the
than
game
they already
crashes.
have, yeah. He's been lockpicked.
Yep. Grab that. We are going to head back to Aldrune, kind of like before. And then we're just going to head straight back to Red Mountain.
Oh.
That's fun.
Yeah, we're dizzy. Was that the disease or the?
That's what happens if you get hit while you're in midair. Sometimes it just causes that blood splatter. It's a well-known bug.
Nice. I don't do any percent,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I remember that happening a good few times.
Yep. Now, time is going to be slightly longer because I don't have mark and recall like I had before, but I will give a cue.
Slightly is a very relative term in Morrowind
Yes.
speedrunning, by the way, so still almost there.
And time.
And now we're actually free.
Yep. So y'all probably couldn't hear it because, you were applauding because it was called time, but there were basically 3 different lines of dialogue all playing at the same time there. 2 lines from Dagoth, one from his first phase, 1 from his second, and a line from Azura. It's great. It's wonderful. Anyway, that's Morrowind. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much to the GDQ Games Committee for bringing this game back after its last appearance at AGDQ 19 when Forrest ran it. A couple shout-outs. Thank you very much to, of course, Forrest for routing this and creating the All-Main Quest route. Thank you to Volvulus, the current world record holder, who has actually mentored me quite a bit in being able to get fast in this run and show you everything I showed you today. Also, a big shout-out to Kronos, who is basically in charge of our Discord and a lot of parts of the Greater Elder Scrolls community. Kronos ran Halo 3 last night in an extremely hype run and will be up once again for Baldur's Gate 3 today, tomorrow? Tomorrow, exactly.
Is it tomorrow yet?
Tomorrow went, yeah.
I can't brain yet.
Exactly. Anything the 3 of you want to say?
Not really.
No.
Morrowind is a great game.
Yeah.
If you want to play it casually, OpenMW is a really good way to play it casually.
Yep.
It's also in the Humble Bundle right now.
Yes,
so
it is.
You can grab it with that, with the GDQ Humble Bundle. I would like to just give a quick appreciation to everyone who rolled out at stupid o'clock in the morning to come watch us play this game. Thanks, Matt Couch. Thanks, 104, for being my family away from home. Y'all the best.
And then Forrest, you have a run coming up later today.
Yes, I'll be racing Yellow Tuxedo's room at like 4 p.m.
Yep, so definitely check that out. And I will also be over there at the hosting desk where Spef currently is early Saturday morning, so definitely check those runs out as well. But I think that's going to do it for us. And get hyped for our next run. Thank you all so much.